Super Bowl halftime. How
Yeah.
you feel about Kendrick's
Oh
performance?
man, Kendrick killed it.
Okay.
Killed it.
Okay.
You know, the storytelling, the performance, the showmanship.
Yeah.
Drake has always seemed untouchable, chart-topping hits, sold-out tours, and a partnership with one of the most powerful labels in the world. But lately, his polished armor appears to be cracking. Strange lawsuits, cryptic jabs from industry, heavyweights, and unsettling rumors of behind-the-scenes power plays are all converging around him, and it's starting to look like there's a grand design working against the rapper's once bulletproof image. Could a hidden network of high-power figures be orchestrating his downfall? Or is Drake simply sabotaging himself? Stay tuned, because by the end of this story, you'll be asking how much of Drake's legacy is built on unsteady ground and whether he can ever reclaim his coveted top spot. The rise and the golden deal. Drake's rise to superstardom didn't happen by accident. After initially making waves on Lil Wayne's Young Money roster, Drake quickly outgrew his status as a mere protege. His melodic hooks and relatable lyrics hooked mainstream audiences, and soon he was headlining festivals and raking in awards. At the height of his career, rumors circulated that Universal Music Group UMG and its CEO Lucian Gra were ready to offer Drake a once-in-a-lifetime deal. Those whispers turned into reality when, in 2021, Drake locked down a colossal contract reportedly worth hundreds of millions. That deal was more than just another record contract. It was a symbol of power both for Drake and for UMG. Drake boasted in his songs that Lucian's support set him apart from every other artist on the label. Lyrics referencing Lucian and lumps of money flowed freely, fueling the narrative that Drake had the industry in his back pocket. He was no ordinary signer. He was special, and for a while, it seemed like an unbreakable alliance. But power is a fickle thing, especially in an industry known for its labyrinth of deals, backdoor politicking, and hush-hush negotiations. As soon as artists believe their position is secure, the ground often shifts beneath their feet. The first tremors surfaced when fans noticed Drake was taking unusual risks, subtle digs at other artists, odd social media behavior, and cryptic.
Well, I think less than the dollar value, it's just more about the idea of growth and business mindset too. You know, 25 million at the time seemed crazy to me, but when you start becoming a headlining touring act and, you know, brands want to get involved with you and you can go do private events and whatnot, it's, you know, you're capable of making it.
Statements about the music business, insiders chalked it up to standard rap bravado. Little did they know, it was just the beginning of what some people are calling one of the most bizarre and self-destructive chapters in Drake's career. But if Drake's alliance with UMG was once so strong, how did it fracture? That question looms large, and it sets the stage for everything that followed. Kendrick's Super Bowl triumph and Pusha T's mission accomplished. Right when Drake's reputation appeared to be teetering, Kendrick Lamar seized the global spotlight with a record-breaking Super Bowl halftime show. His performance shattered viewership records, quickly becoming one of the most watched halftime shows in history. Fans applauded Kendrick's originality, lyrical mastery, and showmanship, seeing it as the ultimate confirmation of his star power. But the moment that set the internet ablaze came courtesy of none other than Pusha T. With a cryptic congratulatory post, Pusha wrote, "Mission accomplished," right after Kendrick's halftime triumph. At face value, it read like a simple pat on the back, but to fans steeped in hip-hop rivalries, that phrase sparked speculation that Pusha was celebrating more than Kendrick's success. He was celebrating Drake's unraveling. Remember, Pusha T had already played a pivotal role in knocking Drake off his pedestal back in 2018 with his infamous track that exposed Drake's hidden child, a baby mama drama. Ever since, Drake's once irrefutable image had taken a noticeable hit. So when Kendrick propelled himself to even greater heights while simultaneously dropping tracks that took aim at Drake, some people saw it as part of a bigger chessboard one that Pusha T helped set up. But how does one spectacular halftime show become the turning point for an entire rap rivalry? The answer, it seems, is that Kendrick's moment in the sun highlighted Drake's absence from the main stage of cultural impact. And it wasn't just a reminder that Drake was losing ground, it was a signal that bigger players might be working behind the scenes to take him down for good. Drake's lawsuit against unmatched. Drake's position was already shaky. His next move took fans by surprise. He filed a federal defamation lawsuit against his own label, UMG. According to court papers, Drake accused UMG of conspiring with streaming services to artificially boost the success of one of Kendrick's diss tracks, Not Like Us. Drake claimed the song falsely labeled him a PDF file and that UMG allowed it to go viral.
We were watching it on the iPad, the pre-telecast, and it kept cutting out. And then it just cut right back on for the moment where they're like, and best rap album goes, and they said Take Care, and I almost was like, oh, I didn't, like, it almost didn't even sound like my album. And then we just started going nuts, and we got out literally in the middle of the street, blocked cars, we all hugged. And then when I got back in the car, I realized that I had torn my suit.
Where?
So I stopped at a
Where's the
hotel.
So he stopped at a hotel and sewed it up.
And I told the tailor to meet me there, and she sewed up my suit.
All while pocketing the profits. On the surface, this felt like career suicide. Suing the very label responsible for your success is no small matter, especially if that label happens to be the largest music conglomerate in the world. But Drake's hardcore fans doubled down, painting him as a revolutionary figure fighting an unjust system. Some insisted Drake was taking a stand against the evil big labels on behalf of smaller, independent artists. Critics, however, saw a more self-serving narrative. Drake only started complaining when the tables turned against him. For years, he basked in the preferential treatment that came with his special deal. He had boasted about how Lucian gave him near limitless resources and marketing muscle. He once even rapped that Lucian would never drop him, referring to the CEO like a benevolent king who loved his prized subject. But if that was the truth, then Drake's lawsuit was an open declaration of war against the same king who shielded him from the industry's harsh realities. And in a realm where no artist, no matter how legendary, is truly bigger than the system, you have to wonder, was Drake biting off more than he could chew? Targeting Sophia Richie a risky distraction before anyone could even absorb the full implications of Drake's lawsuit. He made another head-scratching move, posting pictures of Sophia Richie Lucian's daughter-in-law, on his private social media account. He also unfollowed everyone except for Sophia, effectively shining a spotlight on her and inviting speculation that he was taunting Lucian and UMG. To anyone not immersed in Drake's world, it looked perplexing, and for those who were, it wasn't exactly shocking. Drake has a pattern of going after women close to his rivals. With Meek Mill, he targeted Nicki Minaj. With Pusha T, he tried to rattle Pusha's fiancée. And there have been many more examples of Drake's questionable tactics throughout his career. For Drake's detractors, this kind of move underscores his willingness to use women in his personal feuds, a strategy seen by many as tasteless and exploitative. But targeting Sophia Richie was on another level. She's married, she's younger than Drake, and she has nothing to do with rap feuds or label politics. By pulling her into a fight that revolves around money, pride, and power, Drake drew fierce criticism. Some fans pointed out that given the swirl of uncomfortable allegations about Drake's contact with underage or much younger women, he should be extra cautious.
I've been really inspired by like some real just gutter hood music, like just listening to like Lil Reese Savage mixtape, listen to Lil Herb, Lil Bibby, Fergie. You know, I'm proud of Ferg, ASAP Ferg. He's been killing it.
Others argue that going after Lucian's family, no matter how indirectly, is reckless, especially when you just filed a lawsuit against the man. So what was Drake hoping to accomplish by dangling Sophia's name in front of the public? Perhaps it was a last-ditch attempt at intimidation. Maybe he believed it would distract from the shaky ground he stood on with UMG. One thing's for sure, it only fueled the perception that Drake was spiraling out of control. Diddy's lawsuit and allegations of shady industry practices if things weren't complicated enough. Another layer of controversy emerged from an unexpected corner: Diddy's legal troubles. Producer Lil Rod filed a lawsuit against Diddy, accusing him of participating in an elaborate ring of questionable parties that allegedly involved powerful executives, hidden cameras, and possibly even blackmail. Initially, Lucian and UMG were named in this lawsuit. Lil Rod claimed that Lucian visited Diddy in the late hours, disappeared into private quarters for extended periods, and may have provided substantial funding that enabled Diddy's alleged activities. Even more explosive was the suggestion that someone could have incriminating recordings of these behind-closed-doors events. However, Lucian and UMG were dropped from the lawsuit just a few months later. Official statements from Lucian's legal team labeled the allegations offensively false and threatened legal repercussions against the plaintiff's attorney. The abrupt dismissal might have saved Lucian from an ongoing PR nightmare, but the whispers lingered. If there was even a shred of truth to these allegations, It could mean that some of the topmost players in the music industry were entangled in a hidden network of questionable behavior and blackmail schemes. Yet the question remains, could Drake's very public meltdown and lawsuit be linked to these deeper, shadowy rumors? Some people speculate that once Lucian escaped the Diddy scandal, he wanted to maintain a squeaky clean image any turbulence from Drake, especially if it stirred up old rumors, had to be dealt with swiftly. And if Drake felt neglected or betrayed by Lucian during this process, it could explain why he's lashing out in increasingly desperate ways. Contract disputes and shifting power beneath all the lawsuit's encrypted comments lies an equally potent force: business negotiations. Industry insiders say Drake's once massive contract with UMG was nearing its end, with one more deliverable left, possibly an album with Pardon Next Door. Drake was looking to extend or renegotiate his deal. The numbers flying around were mind-boggling, with whispers that Drake wanted as much as $600 million. In any business sense, you could see why Drake believed he deserved that.
Well, yeah, like for the OGs, you know, like for Kano, for Ashley, for Scorch, like all those guys, like it's like, you know, to see them be able to continue this is an incredible feeling for me. And for the next wave, you know, like for Sims, Dave, I just think it's something that can assist. I mean, obviously Dave is on the moon already, but you know, but these are the type of things that really get to put on display how talented people are.
He's a commercial juggernaut, and every project he releases tends to break some streaming record. But from UMG's vantage point, Drake was just one, albeit very large, piece of a global operation. And after seeing him lose some of his cultural momentum while guys like Kendrick soared, maybe UMG decided that Drake wasn't worth the same blank check he once was. When personal pride collides with corporate pragmatism, deals turn sour fast. Drake likely felt blindsided. He'd once boasted about his easy access to Lucian's budget. Now, faced with less flattering terms, he might have jumped to the worst conclusions, suspecting Lucian of undermining him on purpose. Maybe the alleged sabotage by UMG with Kendrick's diss track was Drake's way of explaining why his star power seemed to be dimming. Could it be that Drake's unstoppable aura was quietly deflated by the very system that built him up? It certainly fits the pattern. In music history, no artist remains at the pinnacle forever, and record labels prioritize profit over loyalty every single time. The looming threat of industry wrath-on thing is clear. UMG is not a small player. You can poke it without consequences. Lucian has built a reputation as a formidable executive, someone who rewards loyalty but doesn't tolerate public antagonism. If Drake is indeed at war with UMG, he's staring down an empire that has sunk careers far bigger than his. The music industry is rife with tales of artists who went against their labels, only to find their albums shelved, their marketing budgets slashed, and their reputations systematically dismantled. What's more, controversies like alleged blackmail parties, hidden recordings, and hush money payouts aren't new in entertainment. They're just rarely exposed in broad daylight. If Drake's rebellion forced some powerful figures into an uneasy corner, the counterattack could be swift and brutal. A few quiet phone calls to streaming platforms, a gentle nudge to radio stations, or subtle sabotage in distribution could hamper Drake's releases more than any single diss track ever could. On the flip side, maybe Drake does have a strategy. Perhaps he's not as reckless as he appears. Maybe the lawsuit is a chess move, a public spectacle designed to pressure Lucian into better contract terms. Still, even if that were true, most observers see Drake's tactics, especially dragging Lucian's daughter-in-law into the fray, as ill-advised. Which brings us to the heart of the matter. Is Drake the victim of a grand conspiracy? Or is he an ambitious artist who overplayed his hand? Deeper conspiracies or self-destructs, music fans love a good power struggle. But the Drake situation goes beyond typical label scuffles. There's genuine mystery here. Kendrick's cryptic lyrics about artists protecting hidden arrangements.
I know how it works, so I don't even want to, gravitate towards it. I want to go out there and I want to see, is you sitting in the crowd looking at me with the mummy face?
Then I can actually go directly to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Or is you, enjoying yourself?
Yeah.
You feel me?
Pusha T's quiet jibes and Drake's own lawsuit hint at something bigger than a mere rap feud. The suggestion is that entire structures of influence ranging from cunning business executives to hush-hush party circles are dictating who rises and who falls. Then again, plenty of artists have navigated contract disputes without turning them into public spectacles. Why is Drake taking such dramatic steps? Some believe it's just hubris. Others say he's flailing because he can't handle not being number one. Or maybe, after years of carefully cultivating an image of success and invincibility, Drake simply panicked when he sensed that image was slipping away. Regardless of which theory you subscribe to, it's impossible to ignore that Drake has been left more vulnerable than at any other point in his career. Pusha T's mission accomplished post felt like the proverbial nail in the coffin. A wink to fans that a grand plan to bring Drake down has finally come to fruition. Meanwhile, rumors about shady label dealings and hush money soirees swirl louder by the day, making Drake's meltdown look like a sideshow to a deeper, darker drama unfolding behind closed doors. And yet, there's one question still gnawing at everyone. If Drake truly feels cornered, is there a last move he can make to salvage his career and his legacy? Conclusion: Drake's rapid shift from the top of the charts to the center of a sprawling industry storm has fans and critics alike scratching their heads. Lawsuits against one's own label, targeting family members of powerful executives, and fueling conspiracies about blackmail are not standard procedure for an artist of Drake's caliber. It might be self-sabotage, or it might be part of an intricate plan that only Drake understands. Either way, the odds seem stacked against him, and the powerful individuals he's challenging have deep pockets, industry influence, and track records of surviving bigger scandals than this. So where does Drake go from here? Will he find a way to reset his relationship with UMG and Luciangra? Or will he double down on his defiance and risk losing everything he's built? Perhaps the most unsettling possibility is that this conflict is just the tip of an iceberg, one that involves hidden agendas, hush-hush gatherings, and an industry far more controlled than fans ever imagined. Only time will reveal if Drake can outmaneuver the forces lining up against him, or if he'll become another cautionary tale about what happens when you turn on the machine that made you a star. What do you think? Is Drake orchestrating his own downfall, or is he a casualty of a much larger power play? Let us know your theories. Embrace yourself for what might come next, because in the ever-shifting world of the music business, today's king can become tomorrow's cautionary tale.